All right, we're going to shift gears, ladies and gentlemen, and talk about the government talking about hiding things from us, alien technology and all that type of stuff. They've also decided that crypto is going to be a no-go. Is that what you're seeing, Ed? Is that what you're thinking? That's kind of where I'm going with it as well.
Well, if they had their way, yeah,
That shut it down, huh?
Yeah, and there's a new development overnight that kind of brought it back to the spotlight. So I thought it's worth talking about again, because it's been a while since we talked about this topic, and it does affect a lot of people. So it's worth letting people know what's going on. All right, so let's get to it. You who have not been paying attention, if you've been living under a rock, you know that the government has this big CBDC plan coming in, their own central bank digital currency, which is another form of it. Well, the digital currency, right? But it is not an actual cryptocurrency, not in the true sense. I'm not going to go into the differences in this video. For now, I just want to talk to you about why the government is going after all of these crypto exchanges. So when the government does introduce their CBDC, they don't want any competition. So they've been making a concerted effort to go after the crypto exchanges. I think they've realized that it's a little too complicated, a little too difficult to go after the cryptocurrencies themselves, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you name it. So rather than going after the particular cryptocurrencies, they're going after the exchanges that we need in order to access our cryptos. I believe they even have a name for it. I believe it's called Operation Choke Point. So they figured, why bother going after the currencies themselves when we can just go after the on-ramps and off-ramps? And this effort is now accelerating. The closer they get to the launch of their own CBDC, the more they're going to go after these exchanges. So there was an article today out of Zero Hedge that I want to show you. Real intent here appears to be to make headline. Binance response to SEC, Bitcoin extends losses. We are disappointed that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission chose to file a complaint today against Binance seeking, amongst other remedies, purported emergency relief. From the start, we have actively cooperated with the SEC's investigation and have worked hard to answer their questions and address their concerns. Most recently, we have engaged in extensive good faith discussions to reach a negotiated settlement to resolve the investigation. But despite our efforts, with this complaint today, the SEC abandoned that process and instead chose to act unilaterally and litigate. We are disheartened by that choice. And if we go to the actual official Binance blog, here is their statement. But let me summarize it for you. Let me get to the chase here and save you some time. Okay, first of all, I want you to know I'm not a particular fan of Binance. Listen, I think this is kind of a CCP outfit, really. They've got the Chinese ties and all the rest of it. But Binance is the largest crypto exchange in the world today. And the SEC has a history now of this kind of thing toward exchanges. They did the same thing with Coinbase. Coinbase is famous for bending over backward at the expense of their customers in order to, cozy up to the SEC. And the SEC still fined them, I forget what it was, like a couple $1 billion. And Coinbase had to, cut a check. Now, the problem with the crypto space is a lot of it is still unregulated. So all these exchanges, they're saying, please, just tell me the rules. What are the rules? And the SEC has been really slow to actually define the rules for these exchanges. Now, listen, the SEC plays a function, right? They're there to protect investors against fraudulent activities by people wanting to engage in quote, securities. But in effect, the SEC is largely a shakedown operation. They can easily get $1 billion here, $1 billion there by going to, your favorite brokerage firm, or in this case, crypto exchanges, and say, all right, pony up, I need $1 billion. And these exchanges find it cheaper to just cut a check, to the SEC. This is what the SEC does. They use the force and the threat of the government backing them in order to intimidate and get their way. And now that the government has their own CBDC coming up, they don't want any competition. So the SEC right now is ramping up efforts to make life difficult for any crypto consumer. Now, I'm confident that we as crypto consumers are always going to be able to find a solution. We're always going to be able to find a workaround. When your favorite exchange goes under because of government intimidation, there's always going to be another way. So if you are a crypto consumer, you're going to have to be a little nimble on your feet. Okay, make friends with other crypto guys. Join a good blog outfit or something. Join the Hey Ed WhatsApp group. And that way you always have somebody who's going to give you a little idea. Well, go here instead. But that's the way it is in the crypto space. If you're going to be a crypto consumer, you have to be a little light on your feet and you have to be paying attention. But I just wanted to point this out to you today to kind of emphasize the idea that the government is not your friend in any case. And when it comes to crypto, the government does not like the competition to their CBDC. They do not like the idea that you have alternative ways of conducting business outside of their precious little fiat currency. The government wants you to be enslaved to their system. So if you're a freedom-loving person, you do want to know about cryptos, and you just need to stay on top of it, right? You just have to pay attention and learn some of the tricks. Okay, so this is what Bitcoin has done over the past about 12 hours when this news came out about the SEC suing Binance. Now, these news events can have short-term effects, and Bitcoin might continue its run again tomorrow, as far as I know. But the overall feeling right now in the crypto space is that the government is out to get it. So if you're sophisticated and if you want to spend some time, there are always going to be some good opportunities in there. But this space as a whole, it's out of favor by the institutional investors. So if you're going to go into the crypto space, you have to be far more discerning than you were a few years ago. Okay, so that's my little report for the day.
Nice work, mate. I didn't know it was a shakedown mobster operation, but that makes sense.
Oh yeah, well, it's a government agency that deals with money. So oh yeah.
But the way you describe it, it's like something out of the 1960s where I have to pay you, otherwise, like, we're not going to let you do business.
That's exactly what it is, but it's just government sanctioned. Oh yeah, these guys are thugs.
So what should you do? You're saying to be more discerning. You're saying being more discerning with crypto, you get in and out. But if you're in crypto at the moment and you've got some in your wallet, off an exchange somewhere, and you need to cash it out, would you cash it out?
Well, first of all, nobody should be holding on to any cryptos inside of any exchange, right? Mm-hmm. Don't hold any, because just like with a bank, it's not your money, it's not your assets. It could disappear. Past couple of years, many exchanges have gone out of business. FTX was the most recent one, okay, but there are several other ones. And anybody who had any crypto sitting on those exchanges when they went under, it's gone. It evaporated. So never keep any crypto assets on any exchange. Keep them in a hard wallet or on something like an Exodus. Keep them in wallet. Exchanges are for doing that, exchanging. Okay, wallets like Exodus, we're going to want to hold it. Now, having said that, we all know the stories as recently as 2 years ago, where someone would buy a couple $1,000 versus some little meme stock, and then they became a millionaire by the end of the summer. Those days are gone. We're not.
Yeah, that's over.
Yeah, those days are never coming back. Now, there are going to be little opportunities here and there, but knowing which ones they are, it's impossible to know which ones are going to. You are going to hear little stories about that along the way. They're going to crop up here and there, but you're always going to learn about them after the fact. So it's not like the old days. This entire space now. The word cryptocurrency is a misnomer. The only cryptocurrency in the world is actually Bitcoin, because of what the term means. Because if you have a project, you name a project, most like Ethereum, for example. Ethereum isn't actually a cryptocurrency because there is a central party that underlying that product, right? There's that guy, what's his name, that Russian guy, the guy who built it. Now, Bitcoin, there is no central guiding authority for crypto. It's out there, it's on the space. So Bitcoin is the only actual, by definition, cryptocurrency in the world. Everything else is a wannabe. It's not an actual. So misnomer. So Bitcoin is, in my firm, a very honest form of currency because yes, it fluctuates, but it fluctuates because of market conditions.
It's the only real crypto, as you say. That's right. That's why it's the only real crypto.
Everything else, what are there now? Like 20,000 crypto tokens and coins out there now. Almost all of them are never going to amount to anything. Almost all of them will be extinct. So I don't think, however, I think there are some projects here and there. So when I say you want to be discerning, you don't want to just buy some meme stock because you saw some guy doing a YouTube video on it and it's going to, 1000x because he says so. You got to put a little thought into it. It's not like the old days.
Yeah, I think the way to be discerning about it, what you're saying is you're not getting into crypto, you're getting into blockchain type projects.
Yeah.
Because the concept of blockchain and the technology is here to stay. That's not going anywhere. That will revolutionize the way that we do things and the way exchanges actually happen. I want to just kind of back up just a tiny bit there. And you're talking about SEC giving Binance a hard time. I got an email from Binance on, where is it, on the 1st of June. Today is the 6th of June, so 5 days ago. It says, final reminder, suspension of AUD Pay ID fiat services today at 1700 on the 1st of June, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Fellow Binanceans, this is a final reminder that users will not be able to withdraw Australian dollars directly to their bank account using Pay ID after 1700 on the 1st of June. So what they're essentially saying is they're not shutting down the exchange, they're shutting down your on and off ramps to actually be able to do that here in Australia. So that's a pretty interesting thing that's going on. I remember saying to my brother at the start of the pandemic, like maybe this is the opportunity that we've been waiting for with crypto because the government's trying to control everything. They lock you in your homes, they're doing all that. And he said, nah, bullshit. And I said, really, why? And he goes, because they'll just turn them off. And I said, well, you can't turn Bitcoin off. And he goes, they'll just turn the website off. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, they'll just block any means of on and off in the country that you're in. And because what they'll do is they'll go to the, so think about the way that a website works. If you wanted to register a domain, so you go to a domain provider